We're back, ladies and gents. We're here to cover some of the biggest drama we've had on the channel in a while, as I've not been reached out to as much as I've ever been about this Kelly Hall situation and her appearance at the Super Bowl as a U.S. Navy influencer. And it seems like this drama goes a little bit further, and she's officially clapped back at everybody in some of her statements on a story recently. I do want to say I did reach out to her the day I made that video in the past. I should have given her some more time, but you know, it's been a week and I still haven't heard from Kelly on any of this situation, and I'm pretty sure she's seen it, but we'll just digress because I think that this is such a half-ass attempt at damage control to try and make sure that she remains more polished than she's ever been, as many people complain about that from her social media presence, that she is too polished. But let's go into this because I feel like this is a sidestep to try and get past this. She says, going to debunk a couple rumors this morning on my way or on my commute, and it might blow your mind. Tune in to Misunderstood Podcast premiere in March, and I'll address the rest. I would say this, why are we waiting, 2 weeks plus from when I made the original video or when people were mad about it? And why are you only going to promote this on your podcast where it's like you already have what some would consider an echo chamber of just women wanting to empower women, but then you go further into the echo chamber of, oh, only the core women that are really into me are going to hear the true dirt about this, rather than addressing it on your actual platform, as people are very upset, as they're like, what are you really doing at the Super Bowl to make the military better? She then writes, I don't monetize from this platform. Crazy, I know. Even with 100,000 followers as an active duty service member, I knew a long time ago, no matter where this platform grew, it wasn't about money. It was about impact, and I didn't want to blur my intention by profiting from it and not follow DoD guidelines in any way. I had no idea it would grow this large, and yes, I get offered a lot of money to post sponsored ads, but I don't do it. So for those of you thinking I'm making millions, I'm not just Lieutenant Pay over here. Nobody said you were making millions from this. No one's expecting 100,000 follower account to be making millions, to be honest. Unless you had that, some kind of OnlyFans, some kind of YouTube channel, something, going on with this, and like a brand that you were actually doing, selling hard products, hard goods and services. I don't think anybody would expect that from this. But you fail to address the one thing is, yes, you mentioned impact, but that is where every person that was out there criticizing you on social media was asking, where is your impact? What are you doing impact-wise? How are you addressing real sailor issues? And that's where people are a little frustrated. The way you're fixing sailor issues and advocating at the Super Bowl was trying to sit there and say, what is your favorite food for the Super Bowl? That's crazy. And they didn't think that they were being fairly represented as a military. Also, you said you've made $0 off of this. I have to address the elephant in the room. Where it is very blurred line here is the ethics of this, because a lot of your page does include you wearing a uniform. But in that link tree that you link to, I don't know how distant legality of that is, you do link to 2 discount codes that are on there. Now, if we look at this first one, it was your Fashion Pass referral code. Now it says how to participate. It says you become an advocate for Fashion Pass and advocate on your by inviting your friends and family, your referrals to use your specific discount code. To sign up for the Fashion Pass membership, you do that. Your referral will get you an additional $5 to any ongoing promotion off their first month of Fashion Pass as long as they qualify for the discount. To qualify, your referral must not have placed an order through Fashion Pass before. As soon as your referral signs up for Fashion Pass, you will receive an email to the email address on file confirming that your referral signed up, and your account will automatically be credited $10 for the referral. You may refer as many friends or family members as you like. However, you are limited to maximum use of 100 invite friends credits for a total of $2,000 in savings. That is profiting. You've gotten some kind of financial incentive, which would be $2,000. She then goes on to say, just because I post or tag something doesn't mean I'm profiting from it or it's paid ad. I designed an entire swim collab last year and didn't make a single dollar. Why? Because I wanted to explore a new passion/creative outlet, and it wasn't about getting paid. Imagine that. So for all of you who get upset when I tag a product, it's not because I'm making money. All right, guys, let's not get totally blown away here. I'm just going to point it out. This is Swim by Casey. And, of course, the Do Both. See Me Do Both, which only has one review, which is 4 stars. But it looks like this is a small brand that's collaborated with her. Maybe a little bit here as we see that the Bride or Die Bachelorette. and then this top one here. So not like an entire line per se, but I would say she's had some kind of influence. And what it looks like here is she's influenced some kind of design where this small bikini designer has made 2 different pieces for her, and we don't know how many sales have been there. But talking back to the financial side of this, if you go up here and you go to info and you go to sponsorship right below here, you can get a swim sponsorship, which I don't know, this is a small company, how much money would be kicked back from this. She then goes on to say, that includes getting my makeup done for the event at the Super Bowl. I paid my makeup artist. It was not a sponsored post or ad. She did a tremendous job and I wanted to share it. Also, dozens of you asked who did it because she was so great. This is why I included a disclaimer that said not DOD endorsed because it's my personal page and my personal views. And you can see on the original post, she said, last day getting glammed up with Leah Scheibel. Thank you for making me feel my absolute best. And then does put that in the very bottom. To be honest, even from my perspective, when I was reviewing this case and looking at how everyone was mad, no one even mentioned the makeup issue here. Nobody thought you were sponsoring her by any means. I think where a lot of people are having issue with what you've done as far as making this platform and profiting off it maybe, or endorsing certain things or being endorsed by the Navy or whatever else, comes down to the fact that so much of your content is aligned with you wearing a uniform because you say you can do both. And then there's Kelly on this side of it. And those are coming together and molding. And it becomes very hard to say which one is which and how do you define that line as a specific Instagram story versus a specific post versus the generalized entire thing of that, because people do know you as a lieutenant in the United States Navy. She then posts her podcast and says, I've never made a single dollar from my podcast. I have a podcast because it's a creative outlet. I've always wanted to have a quotations talk show since the 4th grade, but mostly because I get to interview amazing people and learn new things, then share it with the world. I agree. I would love to be a podcaster, do interview people. I commend that, having big dreams, aspirations. And to be fair, on this podcast, you say that there's 60,000 plays on it. I doubt anyone's breaking down your door to try and get a sponsorship on there like it's some massive deal. I'm just being honest here. But I do want to say, I understand, probably not being sponsored on the podcast. She then writes, the last but not least, I'm not a full-time content creator for the Navy or even part-time. I have an entire full-time job in the Navy I report to every single day, just like you. I have a talent for media, photography, video, storytelling, and content creation. It is a passion of mine, always has been. It may look like this is my full-time job, but it takes less time for me to make an IG post than it does YouTube binge watch Netflix. It's about priorities. This is a priority to me. I love it. It's how I spend my commute every day. It's how I show the world I can #do both. God, is everything a brand of do both? Is everything a brand? Jeez. I'm a content creator as well. I appreciate, yes, it is a priorities game. What do you prioritize? How do you spend your free time? I appreciate that. But I also have to ask, in an effort to address full transparency on your final post here, let's read it. You say, in the effort for full transparency, there you go. Have a happy Friday. I would address that and say maybe not full transparency. I think this is half transparency because there are many topics that were not discussed, and you even mentioned that in the beginning. Now, I did tag you on a post only yesterday where I actually tagged your best friend Jackie Barnum as well, trying to schedule an interview with you in order to make sure you could come on the platform and address certain things, because I think a lot of people do respect some of the coverage that I do here and trying to, fully allow both sides to participate in what is happening. But with you going to the podcast and with you going further down the rabbit hole of this, a lot of people look at you as a lieutenant in the United States Navy. You are a naval officer. You are a person that is supposed to uphold the highest values of what it means to be in the military. Holding the line is holding truth to the light of what the military is, and addressing issues that are good, bad, indifferent, and being able to address them in a professional manner. And I have to say, looking at this, it looks like you're going down the polished road again, as that's where people are criticizing you on your outlook on the military service, on your outlook and the message that you're giving out, is that it is too polished. And if you look at any of your posts, it's a dance usually. It's some kind of photo of you, walking around looking good, and then really not presenting yourself, not having a reality of what you're going through, not having your voice. It's a lip sync issue. It's a look pretty polished photo, but this deep caption below it, and it's reflective on yourself. That's where people have issues with this. And they're saying this because, yes, you're a lieutenant in the United States Navy. You have 100,000 on Instagram. You are able to network, obviously, if you were sent to the Super Bowl and this is all happening. People are asking, what are you doing with that other than being the pretty object on Instagram? What are you doing to network with top leaders to address big issues? How are you doing that? Put that on there. That's what people want to see. Are you working with admirals, working with, high enlisted people to be able to address some of these big issues? That's what people want to see. And I would say the majority of the military is male. So you're isolating around 80% of your audience just by spending your time on this one message, which you have to understand, you're a leader to everybody, male, female, whatever else, it is the same. You're a leader. And sometimes that line is good to use, but doing it so hard is where a lot of people are having issues here. And I'm not doing this just blast you. I'm not. I'm saying this as well. My content here has done a lot of good. I've been able to talk with top enlisted, top officers. I've been able to network. I bring up real issues. When I talk to people in real life, we address real things, retention, SI issues, SA issues. You can debunk what those abbreviations are. That is what I try and do here, and have a little bit of trust and transparency with what is being observed out there, and showing you, Kelly, and other people out there, and even policymakers and things like that, what message is being put out there and how that's being interpreted by people that are interacting on social media, etc. So let's go down to things you didn't address. You didn't address your surface warfare qualification, which I think is part of that credibility in the naval officer leadership. The second thing you didn't address here was the post about how you had none of your content that you had made for the Navy officially ever posted on the official Navy Instagram. So those were the two things that I would say that were massive, that were not addressed as far as this goes. And I would say what you addressed was kind of the typical hate stuff that you typically get. But for everyone else out there that's following this story, if you guys like videos like this or other content I make, please hit me up over on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.